Bronzepony. Welcome to another video. So we're going to work on the Fire and Ice pendant today. So for those of you who haven't seen the Fire and Ice pieces, well, so far we have earrings in fire and ice, and now we have the pendant, and we'll have the bracelet coming up as well. So I used some of those ELITE Eureka Crystal chatons and oval. Well, the ovals for the earrings, and I use the chatons for the pendant, and they're so pretty. I'll link them down below. I'll just give you a little bit of a closer look at the pendant. So here it is in the ice. Isn't that pretty? And here the fire. Here's the fire. And they look so different, don't they? But they're exactly the same. So it's amazing how you can change the look of something just by changing the color of the beads. All right, let's get a materials list going and we'll get started on this pendant. Let's get our materials list going. So I don't have any more of the chatons, the crystals, so I'll just show you. You'll need some 8mm ELITE Eureka Crystal chatons if you want to make this exact one. And this is in dark orange. I'm going to list everything in the description box below, the video, sizes, colors, shapes, how many you need, places to purchase, and I'll do all the blue. I'll list all the ice blue colors there as well. So you need the chatons, and you need a 10mm Rivoli. So that's a little 10mm Rivoli in there. And you'll need some half Tielas. You need some 2mm True 2 fire polish beads, 3mm bicone, some 15-0 seed beads. You need a delica, and you'll need a 6mm pearl. And this is one of the ELITE Eureka Crystal sort of new pearl colors. So gorgeous. You will need I also have an 11-0 seed bead. I have my little cushion with and size 11 needles. That's all I used here was size 11. And then I'm into the 4-pound fire line. I used that. You can use 6-pound, but I suggest, maybe have some of this in your stash. And a little stop bead, which I always forget. Oops. So let's pop this out. Here's a stop bead. There you go. All right. So again, I'll list everything in the description box below the video in case I forgot something, in case there's something I need to add. I have these ribbons here. You can do a ribbon. You can do a chain. I have a video for a 2-bead spiral chain, which I can't find the chain. I don't know what happened to it. I'll find it eventually, but I'll link it down below as well. And as I said, the blue ice version will be linked. All the beads will be linked for that as well. All right, let's get started. Okay, let's get started. So we'll start with one component, and you'll just do 4 of the same. So I've threaded my needle with about 2.5 feet of thread, put on a stop bead, and I left enough of a tail to sew in. I picked up and dropped down to my stop bead, 1/2 Tila and 2 11-0s, and I did that 4 times. I'm going to sew these into a circle by sewing through the first bead after my stop bead, which is this Tila, and then I'm just going to continue all the way around through all the beads to reinforce. So I'll just let you do that, and then we'll continue. Okay, so I've come all the way around, and I passed, where my tail thread and stop bead is, just to sort of complete the circle, and I'm exiting an 11-0 right after 1/2 Tila. I'm going to pick up a 15-0, and I'm going to sew through the next 11-0, 1/2 Tila, and the next 11-0. So I'm placing a little 15-0 in between the 11-0s, and I find that this just kind of tightens everything up. So 15-0, I'm going to move over through the 11-0, 1/2 Tila, next 11-0. That's going to place that, and move my stop bead right there. So I have one here and here. You can do that 2 more times. Okay, last 15-0, exiting this 11-0, sewing through the 11-0, 1/2 Tila, 11-0. So now I have all 4 on, and then I'm just going to advance a little bit. So I'll go through all the beads again, just a little bit, just to kind of end it, and then eventually you just want to come out of the bottom hole of 1/2 Tila. So just like that. So that gives us a nice little base to work with. So I'm exiting the bottom hole of the half tila. I'm going to sew through the top hole, just like that. This is what it looks like. Okay, here we are. We're exiting the top hole of a half tila. I'm going to pick up an 11-0, a half tila, and an 11-0, and I'm going to sew through the top hole of the next half tila. Just like that. 11-0, half tila, 11-0, through the next one. It's going to start to curve a little bit. So you're going to do that 2 more times. Okay, last 11-0 tila, 11-0. Sew through this one, the next 11-0. Get that on there. Through the next, the bottom hole of the next tila, the 11-0, and the top hole of an interior tila. So you'll be exiting right there. Give that a little pull. That makes a little sort of a little cup for our stone. Okay, so we're exiting the interior tila here. I'm going to pick up an 11-0, a delica, and an 11-0, and I'm just going to hop over to the next one, to the top hole of the next interior tila. It's going to place those beads just like that. Again, 11-0, delica, 11-0, exiting here. I'm going to hop over to this one. Just like so. Make sure it goes in front of the tila. There you go. Do that 2 more times. Before you put on your last 11-0, delica 11-0, you can pop your stone in. Put on your last 11-0, delica 11-0. That's what it looks like. Through the top hole of the tila, and then I'm just going to advance right through that first 11-0, delica 11-0 that I put on. We have so far, we're exiting that first group 11-0, delica 11-0. I'm going to pick up 2 15-0s, and I'm going to sew through the next 11-0, delica 11-0. Pop that into place. 2 15-0s. Through the next 11-0, delica 11-0. Pop those into place. I'm going to do that 2 more times. Okay, last 15-0s through the next 11-0, delica 11-0. And then you're going to reinforce this all the way around. Okay, so I have come all the way around and I'm exiting. Actually, I want you to exit an 11-0 before a delica. So you see, so I've come all the way around all the beads, through these, the 15-0s, etc., exiting right here. That's an 11-0 right before that a delica. So I just want you to reverse direction here and come through the 11-0, tila 11-0. Just like so. We're just coming around so we can add some beads here. It kind of finishes everything. So just like that. I pick up 2 11-0s, and I'm exiting this 11-0. I'm going to sew through the top hole of this tila, half tila. Then I'm going to pick up 2 11-0s, and I'm going to sew through the 11-0, top of that bottom tila here, and the 11-0. So the next 11-0, tila 11-0. That's going to surround the outside tilas with some 11-0s. So 11-0s at the top, 2 11-0s through these 3. And do that 2 more times. Okay, last 2 11-0s. I'm going to sew through the 11-0, that tila, and the 11-0. So just like that. And then you can sew, you can come up here and across just to sort of finish your you know, your circle here, or just finish, you know, just finish it off by going around a little bit. That tightens it up. So I have all 4 units made, and I've sewn in all my threads, and I'm going to add a new thread about 2.5 feet long, put on a stoppie, leave about an 8 to 10 inch tail. We might use that tail. So all I did here, I've given you the thread path here, so here's my tail thread. So I've come through just the bottom hole of a tila, not the 11-0s, just the tila. I've added an 11-0, came through the next one, the tila, or half tila, add an 11-0, went through the next half tila, add an 11-0, went through the next half tila, add an 11-0, and went through the original one again. So this is what the thread path looks like, and you're just going to pull it closed like so. So this is what it looks like so far. Okay, so I went around and reinforced what I just did, and I'm exiting a half tila. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work our way around to get a little bead up here, because I want to kind of, you know, get some structure going on. So I'm exiting this half tila right here. I'm going to sew through these 2 11-0s. Then I'm going to go through this 11-0, the half tila, and the next 11-0. So I'm just working up to the top here, but I'm just doing it, you know, a couple of beads at a time. And then these 2. So just like that, 11-0. And I'm going to sew through these 2 on this unit. That's just going to place an 11-0 right there. And then I'm going to sew down. I've sewn through these 2 11-0s. I'm going to go through this 11-0, tila 11-0, or half tila 11-0. So just working my way down again. See if I can get my needle in there. Turn it a little bit. Oops. There we go. Like that. I'm just going to kind of pop that bead up a little bit and give a pull so it, you know, it stays sort of like a little bit of a point there. So we came down, you know, these 2 and then these 3. We're going to come down through the next 2, or sew through the next 2, and then a pull. And then I'm going to work my way around to this point. So I'm exiting this 11-0. I'm going to sew through the tila, or half tila, and then I'm going to work my way all the way up to this top again on this side. Sew through these 2. The 11-0, half tila 11-0, and then these 2. So now I need to add an 11-0 right here. Going down these 2, like that. I'm just gonna, well, I'll give it a little pull in a little bit to pop that up. Sewing through the 11-0, half tila 11-0. Just kind of moving my piece around just so it's easier for me to work. Through these 2, like so. Through this one, you know, through the half tila. And now I have 2 sides that are connected, and you're just going to continue doing that. Go all the way around, put your bead in, go all the way around, go across to this one, and do the same thing on this side until they're all connected. So I have all 4 components connected. So, and I'm exiting. So I've put this last 11-0 on here. Came down through these guys, right here, through these 2, across the tila, just like we've been doing, and then up these two, and then this through this 11-0 and just this Tila. You know, like before we would have been going through this 11-0, but we just want to exit this Tila. So you're going to be exiting right there. Right through that Tila right there. Okay, so I'm going to reverse direction now. I'm just going from this Tila. I'm just going to go through these two 15-0s because I want to get to this 11-0 Delica 11-0 right here. Pulling super tight for you to see that. Whoops, sorry about that. Come on. Clear up, please. There we go. Okay. So I just want to, so I've come from these two 15-0s to the 11-0, Delica 11-0. So I'll be exiting right there. At this point, we're going to be using the 11-0, Delica 11-0, and we're going to sew to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. The way we're going to do that is we're going to pick up two 15-0s, a 3mm bicone, and two 15-0s. Just like that. I know it's getting hard to see. I'm exiting the 11-0, Delica 11-0. I'm just going to hop over to the next 11-0, Delica 11-0. So just like that. I'm going to place those right there. Then I'm going to pick up another two 15-0s, a 3mm bicone, and two 15-0s. I'm exiting the 11-0, Delica 11-0 right here. I'm just going to sew through the next 11-0, Delica 11-0 right here. Do you see how that's sort of placing these around like so we can get our stone in there? And I know, like I said, I know it's getting hard to see. We'll do that one more time. I'll pull in, see if I can get it tight. Okay. Two 15-0s, 3mm bicone, two 15-0s. Exiting the 11-0 Delica 11-0. Just going to sew over to this 11-0 Delica 11-0 right there. Oh yeah, there you go. Now you can see that thread path. Okay, got one more to do. I'll let you do that, and then we'll continue. Okay, last two 15-0s, bicone, two 15-0s, exiting this 11-0 Delica 11-0, sewing through that original one. That's going to place all those 15-0s and the bicones all the way around here. I know it's hard to see, but they're there, and you're just exiting that 11-0 Delica 11-0. Okay, so let's pop the Rivoli in. It's just going to sit right there, and you can see a little bit better now, you know, how you're surrounding that Rivoli. So now we're going to add some more beads to secure it. So before, I'm just going to take that out for a second. So you're exiting, you know, the 11-0 from the 11-0 Delica 11-0. I want you to advance through the next two 15-0s and the 3mm bicone. That's where I want your thread exiting. Okay, so we're exiting this 3mm bicone. I already went ahead a little bit, but here, we'll just start from here. So here's that 3mm bicone. We're exiting right there. I'm going to pop my stone in. Just going to lay it there. It's not going to stay. You're going to have to hold it with your thumb. Like that. And then I'm going to pick up a 15-0, a 2mm fire polish, and a 15-0. Exiting this bicone, you're going to hop over to the next bicone. Sew through that one. Like that. You're going to just do that all the way around. So 15-0, 2mm fire polish, 15-0, through the next bicone. Like that. Finished all the 15-0, 2mm fire polish, 15-0. And then I went around and reinforced, and see when it pulls together. Look, you know, you can actually see what's going on. I'm so sorry. It's a bit difficult, but I think you could do it. I think it's doable. Everything's on now, and I've reinforced. You're exiting bicone. You can go ahead and sew this thread in right now. Do a couple of half-inch knots. I would put a knot right there. You can put a knot in between here. You can go a little bit. Put a knot before the bicone, whichever you feel. Wherever you feel a knot would be helpful, and then clip off that thread. Okay, before we go to the back for just a little bit more, I just want to make sure you don't pull this interior bezel too tight. Like, you can pull it so that it's going to pop up like this. I would make sure you just give it a little push downward. We're going to do a little structure on the back, so make sure that it's, you want to pull it in this way a little bit. You don't want the pieces on the ends curving up. Okay, this is what we have so far. So I'm going to turn it on the back, and I've already put a couple of pearls on. I'm going to put these 6mm pearls, 4 of them on the back, and it's going to bring the piece away from, like, when you your décolleté or your neck a little bit, because I think it could be scratchy with all these different, like, the points here and then the half tila. So this will bring it up a little bit, give it some structure. It looks pretty from the front because you can see these pretty the pretty gold pearls. So I think that's a good idea. So you will be exiting one of the tilas in the center here. So the bottom hole here, just like so. And if you're not, move that tail thread until you are exiting one of the bottom tilas, the bottom hole of a tila. I'm going to advance through this 11-0. So that's one of the, the 11-0s on the points there. And I'm going to pick up my pearl, and I'm going to sew through. So I'm coming out of this 11-0 this side. I want to sew through the same side of the 11-0 at the top. Like that. And then I'm going to sew back down through the pearl, and then through the 11-0 this way. That's just going to secure the pearl, just like that. And then all you're going to do is advance through the next half tila and this point 11-0, like so. And you're going to do the same thing here. You're going to put a pearl. So you're going to do that till you have 4 pearls on. Okay, here's my last pearl on. I've attached to those point seed beads like that. And then you're just going to sew this thread in and, make some half-inch knots. And this is what it looks like so far. Okay, let's set up for the bail. Now I already did it on this side, and I wasn't crazy how it came out, so I'm doing it again. So, I mean, my filming, not the actual bail. The bail came out very pretty. Okay, so thread your needle with about 1.5 feet of thread, put on the stop bead, leave enough of a tail to sew in. So here's my stop bead here. I just came through this 11-0, tila 11-0, and up these 2. So you want to just be exiting right here, however you want to get it. So you're exiting the 11-0 at the top there. I'm going to pick up 4 11-0s, and I'm going to sew down through these 2 right here on the other side. I'm going to sew through the tila, the bottom hole there, and up through this side and this first bead right here. So our herringbone is going to be situated in between these 2 beads here. Okay, we're going to pick up 2 11-0s, and I'm going to sew through. I'm going to sew through these 2 right here. And that's just going to put on our first herringbone stitch. It's usually down 1 and up 2, but I want to get a little bicone here, so I went down these 2. I'm going to pick up the bicone, and I'm going to sew up these 3 on this side. See how that's just going to place the bicone right there? Now I'm just gonna do, the actual herringbone. So picking up 2, sewing down this one. So these are 11/0s, of course. And then up these 2, like so. Do it again. Pick up 2, go down 1 on the other side, and then up 2. Got it. That's what you're gonna do until you have as many herringbone stitches as you like. Let me go ahead and pull that. So this is, this is how it's gonna look. You're just gonna keep going. I think I did 15, 16, something like that, stitches. And I'm gonna, I usually put it on a ribbon or like a 2-bead spiral chain. So I don't need an enormous loop there. Just just enough to fit and, take on and off if I need to. All right, so get that done and then come back and we'll attach to the other side. Just a note, so sometimes when I'm doing a herringbone bail, when I get to, let's say about this point, I like to just hold it like so and then go down all the beads again through the half tila, up and through all the beads on this side. And it sort of connects those different thread paths, so it makes it one. And I think it kind of, it gives it a little more strength or a little more structure. All right, so finish your herringbone and then we'll attach to the other side. Okay, so I've got a length done. Now I'm going to attach. So I'm just going to pick up an 11/0 and I'm going to sew through, I'm on the back now, this 15/0 right here. And then I'm going to pick up an 11/0 and I'm going to sew through a few of the beads on the other side. It's going to pull that down and here's where I'm attached. And all I'm going to do at this point is come across, come down, come through all the beads again, and just a couple of times till it seems nice and secure. And there you'll have your bail on. So mine's a little, sometimes when I do this I kind of kink it, so I'm going to do a little bit of that, make it sort of round. There we go. Now it's round. All right, so secure your bail and come back and we'll finish up. Just a note, all my little notes. Once you're done attaching and you come through, let's say you've come through a couple of times and then you've come through that 15/0, if you want, you can sew around this unit right here. So I came through the 11/0, the tila, and then I'll just continue around, all the way around, just like here and over here, and then put some half-inch knots in. And then you're like super attached to, a little bit more of the beads than just the 15/0 right there. Okay, there we go. So finish up, come back, and we will take a look at our beautiful new pendant. It came out really pretty, and I love how you can take the exact same pattern, do the exact same thing for each one, and they look different. Like my eye focuses on different parts of the pendant depending on the color. So like with this one, popping that matte silver bead in there, I think really did something really pretty for this. And on this, my eye focuses more on the bronze beads that are surrounding the half tilas, and these chatons really pop. So, I mean, isn't it interesting just by changing the colors, how you can really change the look of a piece? All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. The bracelet's coming up. So take care and I'll see you next time.